Hello everybody. Today we'll be discussing about lesson 8, that is strings. As we saw last time, strings are the arrays of characters. Where we saw in the previous chapters of arrays. Today we'll be discussing all about that topic as one lesson. In this lesson we'll be talking about all what are strings and more about strings, how pointers and strings are connected, then all the library functions like what we use for length, copy, comparing and all. And we'll also be discussing about two-dimensional arrays of characters, where we saw previously arrays of arrays of integers. Here we'll be seeing about arrays of characters, and we'll also be seeing few limitations that we have in with strings. Let me tell you what are strings. As we saw previously, only character arrays are called as strings, where you have all the characters grouped into one variable. This is simply called as a string. And characters of arrays or strings are used for programming language to use multiple words or multiple sentences in one variable, where this also helps for memory, freeing of memory space, and also consumes most of our time, and also gives the effective program structure. Here the only difference here is the character array is terminated with a null symbol in programming language is terminated as /0. This is actually a forward slash, as we see here. And if I have to give you a simple example of strings, name array here is called as a string because it all contains characters like HAE, whatever number of characters you want to write in, you can write. Either you can even write your name or your organization name, your institution name, or anything. All that have to be stored into an array, and this array have to be of data type char. Only then you can store the alphabets, and then group of alphabets storing together into one variable is otherwise termed as strings. Fine. Here to know more about strings, as a simple example, okay, when I gave kinsman as a word into a name for data type char, this name is of almost 7 letters, and I wanted to print this name in an output. And when I have to do that, I have to use either for any of the loop conditions. Previously we were using for loop, and today for this lesson we'll be using while loop. In this while loop, I asked for a condition I less than or equal to 7. Until and unless this condition is false, this loop will be always executing, and the printf statement is always executed, and finally the name, whatever you give in this quotations, is given as an output. When I come for pointers and strings, pointers, as we know, used for storing the address of a variable, and strings are the characters of arrays of characters. And suppose we wish to store hello, okay, then we have to either store in a string, or we have to use a character pointer for doing so. But here, as a simple another way, we can use or we can simply assign a character pointer to another character pointer. For example, I'll be using a string and then adding it to another character pointer. When I assign these two characters pointers, I can simply get hello as an output, where both the pointers and strings comes into picture. For a simple example, here is a string 1 hello, okay, this is the array string 1 hello, and this string 2 is having size of 10 alphabets or 10 characters. Now s is a pointer. I'm storing good morning into the s pointer, and q also I'm assigning as a pointer. If I have to copy this string 1 to string 2, that cannot happen because both of them are not either pointers or of same length. So since this cannot be done, I have to use a pointer. Since I use two pointers here, s and q, I'm simply assigning q into s. This is how it works, and the output can be hello as we desired. here standard library functions that as I said you, these standard library functions are used for notifying what is the length of the string, or how to copy one string to another, how to compare one string to another, how to concatenate, that means join two strings, and many more things. Here I have described few things like to find the length, again to append strings, that is nothing but joining strings, then again for copying strings, for comparing strings, for reverse of a string, all that examples. Here I have only listed few, you still have so many when you go through a particular textbook, or when you wanted to know more about strings. For finding of the length, I gave here a small example, like for an array I have assigned an array with this word, and then declared length 1 and length 2 as len1 and len2. For len1 I'm assigning the array of this array into len1, and for len2 I'm adding some other word as humpy dumpy. So when I want a printf of both these statements, then I'll be simply using a printf statement. And if I want to know the length of both of the words, like word 1 for an array that I have used, and word 2, then I'll be simply using %s along with the length, and this length will be calculated with the help of strlen and given as an output. That was a function of strlen. For copy, if I have to use, the same happens, but what happens is it copies the content of one string into another string. This can only happen based on the address of the source and the target string. Okay, here is a simple example. I gave array 1 of characters, and then array 2 of array 2, but I did not even given any words or any kind of input to that array. So here what happens is I want to keep this array empty because I want to copy this array into this. Now I'm using strcpy as copy, and I want to copy the source, whatever information that it has, into the target. Then simply using the printf statements, I'll once copy the source and then write whatever is into the core source, and then use the same for target and give a simple statement return 0. With this the output will be source string is whatever we gave, and target string is this, because string has already been copied with the help of strcpy. Coming to concatenation, concatenation here is join to strings. Okay, for this we need the data into two strings. So here source string I'm giving 1 as fox, and fox L is silent here obviously, and for target I'm giving hello. When I want to join these two, I'll be simply writing strcat and give a printout statements for these both. When I join, the output will be like both of them coming together, and the source code will be only the one word that we have integrated. And then for comparing here also we need two strings in which content has to be given, because we need to compare both of the string 1 and string 2. This function is used for comparing strings. And okay, in this example I gave Jerry as content for string 1 and Ferry as for 2. When I have to compare these two, I simply use strcmp here and assign string 1, that is Jerry, again strcmp string 2 that I have whatever I wrote in string 2. When I assign it for the final variable, that whatever I'm giving as k here, both these words is compared. Once you compare both of the words, only if there is something familiar into it, that will be given as an output, otherwise there will be no output given. So in this criteria, where here two strings are compared and nothing is similar, so output will not be given as anything. When I come for two-dimensional arrays of characters, previously we discussed two-dimensional arrays of integers. In that case, we gave two integers of any what to say, matrix patterns, like 4 by 2 or 2 by 2 or anything else. Here also I wanted that into the same category of two-dimensional arrays, but of category but of characters. So here what I did is simply assigned a value 10 for variable names under the data type character. In this I'll be just using 5 looping, like whatever I want to loop for 5 times. So for that purpose I'm using this for loop, and then here I'm asking the user to enter names which he want to register. Like I want 5 names that I have to register into single array. All the names are registered and then all the names are given as an output. Here character of array I say because in this array you can store 2 or more strings, whereas previously all the programs we saw, one variable can store one string. Here it can store 2 or more strings. That is the main reason why this is called as a two-dimensional arrays of characters. Alright, when you see for pointers and strings, here star symbol defines that it is a pointer, and what happens here is I give so many names in this, and with this extension of program I just wanted to swap two names. Like for example I want any name from this that I can only choose with the help of their address. So here I'm asking to print the name of 2 of 0 and 3 of 0. So we'll be getting 2 of 0 as Raman and 3 of 0 as Srinivas. Once I get these two names, I'm trying to swap these two names. First I'll be storing the first name in T, and second name third name I'll be storing in the second name, because whatever that is there in 2 and 1, that is in place of Raman, it becomes empty. So I'm storing this in this place. Once I do that, again I'm replacing whatever it is in T into the Srinivas. So likewise swiping completes and the output will be like this. This can only be done with the help of pointers, and because that can be helped to note down whatever word we want to take from whichever part of the arrays. Here we have few limitations of arrays of pointers to strings. When we use arrays of any pointers to string, we can initialize string at any place, but the only difficulty is scanf doesn't work there. That means you cannot read from the keyboard. If you want to read from the keyboard, you need to give a printf statement that asking the user to print, but that cannot be stored into the memory. That is one simple limitation, or one limitation that we have with pointers to strings. But there is of course a solution for that. In this solution, what I gave here is I just defined a variable names as a pointer here in the character data type. Once I do that, I assigned a character n of an array of 50, 50 characters. Then when I wanted to know, when I wanted to read from this, what I will be doing is simply give a pointer, pointer variable anything, and then ask for a for loop. Once you do this for loop, all the requirement that you are looking for, like to read out the scanf statements with the help of this for loop, can be satisfied. Here a small interruption with the program, apologize me for this, but simply as we see in the previous programs, you can simply get a printf statement here and then a scanf statement, and then through that you can simply read and overcome the problem that we have with the strings. Coming to a summary of whatever we have gone through till now, we have gone through that arrays of characters is termed as string, but the only difference that we can differentiate is with the help of a /0, that is the empty or null character. This should be of slash should be of this side. And one more thing is, as we learned this in the previous chapter, an array can store the continuous memory locations, and we have discussed all about library functions, like for finding out length, for copying files of strings, for concatenating, and then for comparing. And though the principle of 2D array says that it can handle only several strings, but here it is preferred to do with the help of pointers. That is because it also reduces the space that we use and even gives an effective program or processing of strings. This is all about today's lesson. If you have any